So I'm going to talk a little bit about three key intensities that we need to think about in our training. So first one is aerobic threshold or lactate threshold. It's the same point. The only difference with these is when you're measuring it, one's measuring oxygen and the other one's measuring the buildup of lactate or lactic acid in your blood. And this point is the point where the amount of carbohydrate you're burning, glycogen or carbohydrate you're burning to fuel your exercise, starts to increase above what you do at rest. So in reality, when you're thinking about it, you imagine you go out on your bike, you start riding. As you're riding along, you start breathing a bit deeper because you're working harder. But you're not necessarily breathing harder. You're just breathing deeper rather than faster. As you start to have to breathe faster, that's about where this threshold is. And it's an absolute key marker for endurance sport, because one of the things we want to do is push your aerobic threshold upwards. And aerobic training can make a big difference to where that marker is. So this is really aerobic endurance training to increase that threshold, really is the base that everything else is built on. Training at that level is about 75% your threshold power, 85% threshold heart rate is an approximation. When people first start training hard, it'll be lower than that. Your elite athletes, it'll be higher than that. And the key thing we're trying to do is drive the intensity of that aerobic threshold upwards. We do that by steady efforts at about those intensities. And what we get from that is improved economy. You actually get increased stroke volume and cardiac output. So your resting heart rate generally goes down. Your blood volume goes up. You actually create lots of new blood vessels, which means you can get the oxygenated blood into your muscles more efficiently. And you reduce your reliance on carbohydrate for fuel, which for endurance events is really important. The more we can reduce that reliance on carbohydrate, the better you're going to do. So a key marker that we need to train, and we'll come back to when and how we're going to do that a little bit later on. So how do I know if I've progressed with that training? Your speed or power will increase compared to heart rate or perceived exertion. Your power or pace, if you look at a graph of power or pace compared to heart rate over a session, you'll find that they change less compared to each other. In other words, heart rate drifts up less compared to your pace or your power, so they stay closer together. And your resting heart rate goes down.